Join us for a review of the Maserati Levante Trofeo. Let's go! There are two new versions with the new V8 engine under the hood. This is the GTS. We have a white car for that here today, just to compare, with more accentuations in vehicle color. And here the top trim version, the Trofeo, which is our main car for today. This one has those carbon fiber accentuations, for example, here in the lower spoiler. The length is 5 meters, 16'4" or 197 inches. And special for the Trofeo version, you can also get 22-inch wheels. Also possible for the GTS model. A usual Levante would start at 18-inch wheels, and then of course trim by trim they get bigger, and this one here, the maximum tire choice available. Getting close to the car here today. The Trofeo has like an underscore under the Levante badge here, so just minor design elements they play with here. Overall a rather round shape and big signature here for the LED lamps in the rear. Front LED, by the way, also standard. And then again, those carbon fiber elements for the Trofeo version here in the lower spoiler. And those exhaust, there are actually 4 exhaust pipes, but the outer tips are beauty tips, the real ones are on the inside. And now the moment has come. Ta-da! There it is. That's powering the thing. Usually you would get a 3-liter V6 diesel or a 3-liter V6 petrol for the Levante. This one here, for the GTS and the Trofeo, you can get the 3.8-liter V8 twin-turbo engine. And according to the red color, you might know where this one is getting built. Yes, it's in Italy, and yes, it's at Ferrari. So Maserati says they developed the engine, but they let Ferrari build it then. Here with the Trident logo right there. Also, oh, I won't touch it because it's quite hot. And carbon fiber cover, so beautiful integration also, and it looks quite Ferrari-ish too. What do you think? Acceleration figures are 4.1 seconds for the Trofeo or 4.3 seconds for the GTS. That's from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour, so pretty impressive as for that. Always made into an 8-speed automatic gearbox and an all-wheel drive permanent one with a strong rear-wheel bias. In the special Corsa mode, even more rear-wheel biased here for the Trofeo. And to have the horsepower numbers a little bit split, this one here, the Trofeo, 580 horsepower, whereas the GTS, which we have right there with more vehicle color accentuations, 530 horsepower. So base V8 engine for both of those versions, but then 50 horsepower difference. Inside of the doors you can also have the carbon fiber, and then here special for the Trofeo, and there's no cover above it, so you can really touch it. Really nice. Then we have a brown interior. In this case you can pick different colors. Then the Trofeo also features this perforated steering wheel at the side, huge shifting pedals, and special for Maserati is that they are not connected to the steering wheel. Sadly, Maserati does not offer any alternatives to animal skin yet from the price list, but you can also ask some alternatives for the over the individualizing program. Of course, manufacturers need to move for animal-free materials, which are also more sustainable. However, they also have some cool handcraft going on. For example, here at the top of the seats, they have a Trofeo stitching then on the head restraint. And I like to have those details. Getting inside is, of course, very easy as we have this SUV, full-size SUV, upright seating position, pretty cozy, pretty comfortable, definitely more comfortable than a Maserati sports car. That's why more and more Maserati customers go for the Levante. Interior overview, everything is quite voluminous and sensual, emozioni, the Italian would say, also with this beautiful analog clock in the top part. You cannot see it that well, but you know, analog clock in a luxury car, why not? Then again, this very, really huge steering wheel, again with the fixed shifting pedals, but they give you nice feedback. That's cool. Smaller digital screen here in the middle part. That's, however, like the Fiat Corporation style, so it doesn't look that, that premium as for the software visualization. Right side analog RPM meter, left side analog speedometer. Left side of steering wheel, you control the cruise control, and on the right side you can control the inside of the screen. Then this middle screen, 8.4 inch. You can see here Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is working. And one more close-up, there you can see here the climate control, here also for the heated steering wheel when the engine is running, for example. And here how the CarPlay is being integrated. There you almost used all of the screen. When I would be driving as a tall passenger, I still have some legroom left. Well, I would be wonder if it's not the case, but you see, it's not the best package, so considering the length of the vehicle, there should be more legroom. The hatch, so that's an advantage of the Maserati Levante. If you compare it to Maserati true sports cars, you can still use it as a primary vehicle. Oh, some more Italian number plates below that. And then let me give you some measurements of the trunk here, because the length is actually quite limited, just a little bit more than a meter, but the width is also here a little bit more than a meter. If you're interested in the Levante overall and say like, this exclusive Maserati feeling and having a car that no one else has, well, like just few other people have, but you want the most comfort, if that's the most important thing to you, then you would stick with the V6 or the V6 diesel, say like, engine sound is not the most important for you. But here if you say like you want an alternative to a Cayenne Turbo, for example, you want a really sporty setup for that, that could be something. So normal mode, by the way, you can activate it if you just press the sports mode twice. You can also hear the difference in the exhaust note then as well. Like the indicator here for the RPM meter also has a red top there. That's pretty nice. And for the sound, it's of course good when you accelerate when it's getting uphill. And here I'll accelerate out of the corner from standstill, and that will also tell us something more about the the all-wheel drive, for example. Yeah, and that's the reason I'm not using the Corsa mode here, because that was sports mode, and you can see here rear-wheel bias of the all-wheel drive, sports mode. There was still some ESC in actually, and the thing is, if I would have the Corsa mode, there's even less stability control, and then you could actually really make a power slide. So yes, that proves this all-wheel drive does have a rear-wheel bias, definitely. So the Germans try to keep it calm and collected, also with their sporty SUVs. So try to make like a perfect setup and perfect balance and handling. And some of the British performance SUVs or the Italians, they sometimes say like, what the heck, perfect balance and what's so on. Let's make it aggressive. Let's make it, give it more emozioni. And I think that's exactly what we've seen here. Something like that you wouldn't have seen with a Porsche Cayenne Turbo, because it is, some more better balance and the, the ESC setup and so on, even in the sports mode for better traction. But here actually that's probably also what you want, to have this difference to, this more aggressive feeling you have right here. And now we have a freeway, and I have set it now on mph, miles per hour, that for me, especially for our friends in the US, and we go from 80 to, let's see how far we come. What the hell? That's 150 miles per hour, that's 230 kilometers per hour. Wow. Yeah, I think we kind of heard that Ferrari builds this engine, right, Holger? Yeah, for Holger's also, has been watching Formula 1 for like a couple of decades, and of course also somewhat a Ferrari enthusiast then for F1. This feels a little bit Formula 1 like, at least from the sound. So yeah, Very interesting. Now I've switched it over again to kilometers per hour, especially for our German fans. And the car really remains very stable right here. So again, don't use the Corsa mode on normal public roads. Sports mode is already sportier than anything. And here 200 kilometers now up, noise insulation is still quite up. Car feels good. As for the handling, stable also on the road. So pretty relaxed then, so to say. Yeah, those uneven bumps on the road, they make it a little bit less comfortable in this suspension and wheel size setup. And again, yeah, the steering setup in the very few, very close degree angles, when it's straight, that could be a little bit improved. So if some Maserati engineers are listening, but wow, this is some performance experience, and it's really something else than the German performance SUVs. It's maybe not as perfect, but it's definitely more emotional than those rather perfect German performance SUVs. Here now I want to experience some corners. So when I have the steering wheel turned here, I think I also have good response then from suspension and the steering setup. That's good. We can also do some slalom right here then now, and that's really decent. So the car feels really much connected. And if you think about some Maserati sports cars, here in this Trofeo setup, yeah, we have to watch about our speed cameras. So here in this Trofeo setup, you will not miss any Maserati low-sitting sports cars because the chassis is being kept upright. You have this very sporty driving characteristic. Again, the base version of the Levante is more to enjoy, also relax on long motorway rides and so on. This one here also then to be able to attack everything. And now to our conclusion for today with the Maserati Levante Trofeo. Whereas a base Maserati Levante is more like a, cozy motorway cruiser, soft suspension setup from the air suspension, and running straight, nice and calm. This one here is rather the sports car approach, suspension wise, bigger wheel wise, especially then when you have this combination and the whole driving feeling. And of course this roaring sound from this V8, it always sends you in attack mode, especially in the sports mode, which, especially when the road is a little bit wet, you have to enjoy with care, definitely. So yeah, be very careful with this car. It's one of the very few SUVs that are really, really aggressive. And that's also what sets this one here apart from the competition. Maybe even possible for track use then with this Corsa mode. Interior, they lack animal skin alternatives, and the build quality should be also a little bit better considering the price you pay, because when you think about 80k euros, for example, in Germany for a base Maserati Levante, and this one here can, including extras, even reach double the price. So around 150k for those new V8 versions, always something like that. And that's of course, really, really high in pricing. Yeah, Porsche Cayenne Turbo is also somewhat similar in pricing then. Difference would be that the Cayenne is more set on the perfection in handling, and this one more on this pure aggressiveness. What do you think? Please discuss this car here. And of course, yeah, the last thing, fuel consumption is, it's even hard to measure the fuel consumption because it's so high. So you have to bear that in mind, definitely for the V8 version. So for your fleet, maybe then the V6 or V6 diesel might be the more clever choice, and of course also the more conscious choice overall. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hope you liked this episode. Please share your opinion about this vehicle. Also tune into our other Maserati Levante review and also to the competitor product of this car. We will also link some video links in the description as always, that you can enjoy even more Autogefuehl. See you next time.